Alright, time to roll into things. Just double checking, making sure the audio is running. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. As always, my name is Eli. Tuesdays and Thursdays we do live Q&A sessions, so today is the day for you to have any and all of your guys' questions answered. But before we jump into it, as always, we do weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also with that as well, we're doing Twitter giveaways. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. And then the last two links. As always, Patreon is the place to be if you want to stay up to date on all things Pokémon USA, access to wholesale prices with Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Flesh and Blood, and so much more. And then Discord is the place to be to stay up to date on all things Pokemon USA. But now, let's give a couple shout outs to people that are here so far, and then we will start answering some questions. DJ, Pokey Steve, Senpai, Collector J, Package, San Solo, Wrath, Average Player, Hermit, L-Dubs, J-Song, and That Line. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully we are having a good day. Obviously, yesterday's video, it's so funny. Yesterday's video, it was a conversation about, hey guys, what do we think about, Charizard fatigue, and everyone talking about the negativity of Obsidian. What are your guys' thoughts? And straight up, literally, we got an announcement today. There's going to be a Charizard box that's going to be introduced. So that's a super fun timing on that one. So let's go take a look at Poke Beach. I should probably show it at this point, what it's going to look like. But we got a Charizard EX Premium Collection, ladies and gentlemen, for October. So as if, Charizards weren't already overplayed enough, why not get ourselves another Charizard box? So, yeah, super fun time. But what's up, Trinell, Squid? How we doing? Connor, hopefully you guys are doing well. But yeah, I don't know, man. I've said this before. I'll say this again. I think that it's less to do with Charizard fatigue and more to do with the fact that this is a new generation. And we were in a time period where we had... Okay, so think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. If you look at the Sun and Moon era as a whole, when it comes to the art designs introduced and what made this era amazing, it started really with Team Up. So you had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of amazing artworks, whether it be alternate arts, shinies, tag team, doesn't matter. You had about 5 solid sets. Now you can like Lost Thunder, you can like Dragon Majesty, you can like Celestial Storm, you can like these last couple sets, right? And that's totally fine. However, if you look at just the start of the generation, right? The first 5 sets in particular were hated drastically. Obviously, we look back on Shining Legends and some people like Shining Legends, but outside of that, no one likes any of the other sets. Okay? So you've got 5 first-time sets that sucked, right? With the Sword and Shield era, it was the first 4. People liked Vivid when it came out. Shining was a huge success. To be fair, a lot of this was played into the fact of, the the pandemic. But it wasn't realistically, I would say, until Battle Styles where we got the general art design, right? So for us in the Sun and Moon era, it was the last 5 sets where we got it. Right, so you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sets before we got alternate arts. Versus in the Sword and Shield era, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets before we got alternate arts, right? And so the Sword and Shield era lasted, I would say, a lot longer when it comes to the general artistic designs that were included compared to Sun and Moon. Now, once again, it doesn't have to have an alternate set to be a good set. I mean, Celestial Storm, Dragon Majesty, Lost Thunder, Ultra Prism in particular did extremely well. Forbidden Light did okay. I mean, Ultra Prism is just such a better set compared to Forbidden Light. And then in terms of when Vivid Voltage and Shining Fates first came out, they also did really well. But to be fair, once again, I think these sets did really well just because the timing of COVID. Otherwise, they would have been seen as extremely underwhelming sets. But then once we get into the alt art, it was just basically you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I guess if we want to count Pokemon Go, but 9, 10, 11 sets, we'll say 10 sets more specifically, of just high-powered art designs in demand, right? 10 sets, even battle styles. It did really well out the gate. It wasn't until it got reprinted multiple times. Versus with this, you only had 5 generations of that, right? And people might say, well, we've got SIRs, right? But at the end of the day, the SIR is now the standard, and for that reason, it's no longer a feeling of, it's no longer a feeling of excitement, because it's just SIRs with Pokemon that people don't really care about, right? Like, obviously, it's nice that with Paldea, the alternate art designs were gorgeous. I love the Magikarp. The Tyranitar is a good one. But going into Obsidian Flames, where it's just a Charizard, there's just not really much outside of that people really care about. And so this set will do okay, but in the general short term, of course, I mean, I think it'll do incredible long term. But yeah, it's just interesting to see. Because it's just, once again, there's this period within the start of each generation. It starts off slow and it picks up. And right now we're in that slow period of each generation. I mean, literally, I would argue that each and every generation, like, it really picks up every second half. All the good ideas are in the second half. Like, the Plasma generation was incredible. The Platinum series was incredible. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Call of Legends, Gold Star cards in the EX era. I mean, the tag team cards in the Sun and Moon era. The only set I would argue which had, I mean, this is argue obviously, a better potential first half would be, I mean, but no, XY had both evolutions and generations. It really just depends on what you line up Ancient Origins, because it's like right dab in the middle. If it starts off second half, then yeah, it's a no-brainer. XY second half is better. But we're just gonna have to play out the next couple of sets until we get to that second half, is kind of how I look at it. I think the pack the pack price is gonna ruin the box in the short term. Makes sense to me. Olaf still down Pokemon Center. What did I tell you? Zard Cell. Well, that has less to do with. I mean, I assume. Are you talking about the Zard box? Or are you talking about the Pokemon Center Premium Collection? What are you referencing, Paul, I guess? I think Umbreon is the new Charizard. I think that good art designs of popular cards is the new Charizard. That's what I think. I think it has to be a combo of both. Because Magikarp, which is a freaking Magikarp. I'm sorry for all you hugely... huge favorite fans of Magikarp. I like Magikarp. I like Gyarados. Great Gen 1 Pokemon. But for it to sell as high as it got to, it's purely down to artwork, right? And I think more or less that's what's going to be the future, is it's popular cards or semi-popular cards with amazing art designs. That's what's going to do the best. And so if you have an Evolution, if you have a starter of, Gen 1, if you have a legendary that has an amazing art design that people can fall in love with, I think then you have a winning success behind a card. Please make a short analysis of the Japanese invitation for Erica SAR. Sorry, it's hard for me to say because I haven't been really following it too much. It's really difficult for me to answer that, sadly. SARs don't have enough texture compared to alt arts. I can agree with that. Rip modern Charizards, too many Charizards out there. I mean, let's think about it, ladies and gentlemen. How many Charizards were in the Sun and Moon era, right? In the start of the Sun and Moon era, we had one. It was Burning Shadows. Not unsurprising to anyone, right? We had a large period leading up until the back end of the Sun and Moon era with like no Charizards, and then all of a sudden, bam, we got hit with Charizard after Charizard after Charizard, right? Because we had Unbroken Bonds, which had a Charizard, in Unified, which did not, into Hidden Fates, which had a Charizard, into Cosmic Eclipse, which had a Charizard. We had 3 back-to-back sets with Charizards in them, right? 3 back-to-back sets, or I shouldn't say back-to-back, 3 out of 4 back sets, which had Charizards in them, right? No one complained. Everyone loved the sets. And you know why everyone loved the sets? Because there was more than just Charizards within the sets. There was Charizards, but there was more than just Charizards. There was amazing art designs outside of it. And that's what made the sets good, right? Is it was just not a regular Charizard and nothing else. And that's what people don't like. Hey guys, finally able to catch a live. What's up, Mikal? I don't know why people were obsessed with alt arts in the Sword and Shield era, but Schleepo art rares. I don't get why people were obsessed with alt arts in the Sword and Shield era, but Schleepo. I don't know what you mean by that last sentence, but I mean alt arts are incredible. There's no denying it from the Sword Shield era. By far some of the best designs we've ever seen. Pokemon needs to fix this for future SV sets, or it's going to be bad long term. I hope they're sitting on good ideas. I mean, I can tell you, man, just off the top of my head, I have so many different ideas, like, for new sets. It feels like you have so many different innovative ways that you can... I mean, I have so many set ideas, so I don't think it should be difficult for them to come up with it. Maybe it's just me, right? But, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. You see the announcement, Charizard EX Premium with another Yep. No, we literally have that. We were just showing that a second ago. Art should be a good indicator. Hope they reprint Lost Origin in Australia. They were meant to reprint Evolving Skies and Brilliance last November, but canceled both. That sucks. People like to own shiny stuff. That's that's others want simple. Once the scope of social media will take off, we ride the hype waves and trend every day from Legos to fidget spinners. Going from CZ to SV8 felt so bad in terms of the drop-off in print quality. I mean, the print quality wasn't bad, though. I mean, they just changed from, yellow to silver. Does anyone else think SV English cards felt cheap compared to Japanese? Paldea is better, but still not great. Alt Arts was still like going from a portrait painting of Pokemon to a scenery image, just the scope hit difference. Yeah, I mean... yeah, no, it's great. Did you hear anything about your second allocations for Lorcana? Someone mentioned they got numbers and only got more booster boxes and got 12 more booster boxes. Haven't heard anything about that. The only thing that I've heard, RD, is that basically for Lorcana, they're going to be basing second allocations in the end of the year on how your play numbers are for Lorcana. And so we just take all our allocations and we use them as price support for Lorcana. So that is the only thing we can say for certain. So, yeah. The view of being at a museum versus an airplane window. Interesting comparisons you guys are all making. I mean, the thing is, though, is like, I like the SIRs. I don't mind them. Like, if we go look at some of the cards from the SIRs, I don't mind the fireworkish designs of the outside. It's just the lack of texture in the center of the card, which is what I feel as if most people have disdain for. Because the outside borders of the card are really cool. It's just the center of the card itself. It should have a little bit more texture to it. What's up, CJ? What's going on? Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch the stream in a bit. It has been a while. I'm glad to see you here, man. Alt arts feel more inspired, but I don't know, man. It's hard to say, though, because someone who does or doesn't have texture on a card, I don't think that just changes whether it's inspired or not. Because if I look at the Chien-Pao, right, and I look at the Chiyu, and I look at some of the other designs for, the Galar region, I'm like, or not Galar, Paldea, the Galar region, the Paldea region, I look at some of them and I say, wow, these are some amazing art designs. I think they did a fantastic job. I think that once you just get into the weeds with the texture, then I can understand that. But at the end of the day, I don't think that texture is going to play that big of a part in whether a person likes a Pokemon card or more. I would argue that if this Magikarp had texture on the center versus it didn't, it wouldn't change the general. I mean, but this is an illustration. Maybe it's a bad example. I would argue that the Iono, if it had texture on the center of the card versus just the borders, it wouldn't matter. They really ought to integrate elements from handheld and console into TCG. Mew hiding under a truck by the sea. Some Easter eggs would appear to a lot of fans. Yeah, no, I mean, I've talked about this before. I said I think it would be a really cool set if they brought out like rare Pokemon from, like they made a set with a Shadow Lugia, they made a set with a Onyx, the Crystal Onyx, if they brought out a set with a Squirtle with glasses on, like stuff like that, which to be fair, like the glasses Squirtle just is like, it's just wearing dark glasses. It's nothing unique compared to the other two examples, but regardless, the point is it's like Pokemon that are iconic within the general anime, and it would be really cool to see something like that. Do you think the TCG player prices for only, oh my god, OF every time, BC ETBs will stay like that, or are they going to crash? For PC ETBs, I don't know, man. It's hard to say because right now we're just at a point where we're not seeing a ton of Pokemon Center ETBs being printed, and then, you know, the prices just stay the same or go up. I think a lot of SV Arts rares, if it's not popular Pokemon, I might not even realize it's a Pokemon card at first. I think a lot of SV Art rares, it's not a popular Pokemon, I might not even realize it's a Pokemon card at first. I mean, I don't know if I said I wouldn't recognize it as a Pokemon card, but I can understand if it's not a popular Pokemon, people having disdain for it. Texture only matters in person. You see a card first mostly, you like it, you don't like the texture, but it will enhance it or not once you get it. Yeah, no, exactly. People like get hyped for a card when they see a card, not whether they see if there's texture on the card when we get leaks, right? Did all payments come in? No, there's still people that have not sent payments in Wrath. I will have to, some of them have reached out to me and are apologizing profusely for being late. And I'll have to kind of figure out from here what the plan is going to be with that. I did put in the order though, but, so it did ship out today, but still it's, some stuff I still have to deal with after stream, so it's gonna be a fun time. If Magikarp is special illustration rare, the price of the cards will skyrocket. Yep, no, that's the thing, is honestly I think rarity plays more into it than it has to do with texture. Absolutely agree. The idea about there was no pink shining Butterfree card based on the anime was also crazy. Yep, cool to see. Yes, and that's more or less my thing is that we have a couple of people that haven't sent payment. Some of them have excuses that are valid, and then some of them I don't know because I don't know if the status has been updated. So I'm more or less going to go through with Jimothy and basically discuss it with him today and just make sure that we have everything up to date. And then for those who are not up to date, then obviously we're going to have a conversation. Yeah, exactly. That is not the hope, Hermit, but I mean, you never know, right? That is not the hope. I mean, we've got like 5 or 6 people that, I mean, I just don't know if the statuses have updated yet. And there's a couple of messages I need to get back to as well. But yeah. Buy the extras for $70 off you, right? But I think that let's take a look at Obsidian Flames again. Let's take a look at the card list. Obsidian Flames once again. I mean, it's just so upsetting. I think Paldea is objectively a better set. I think it's objectively a much better set because I just look at the special illustration rares and I say to myself, like, I don't care. Like, no, I don't want a River Room. I'm sorry for you ESQ fans. I don't care either. Like, it's such a smaller set too. Like, it's so much smaller. I don't know if they did that on purpose because they're like Charizard set, next, moving on, but it's just, I don't know. But it's just such a small set. I mean, you have 2 SIR supporters. You've got 3 gold cards, and you've got 4 regulars. You literally have 4 full art Pokemon, or 4 full art trainers introduced in the set. 4. That is tiny. I mean, it's so small, right? Is it not? I don't know. Hey Eli, hey chat. Hope you all are having a great day. What's up, Sia? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for stopping by. How does the ice cube guy not melt for the ESQ? The fire type, ice type Pokemon and the electric type, ground type Pokemon. It is always interesting to see because it is an electric type Pokemon, but it requires ground type moves. I do like that concept. I mean, the concept in theory is cool. But this is now getting into the weeds of like competitive play and not having to do with art design, right? P is amazing, especially at the current price. I concur. I mean, you can get right now a Paldea Evolved on just here, right? I mean, listing without photos. Wow. I mean, the price is actually going for quite a bit. Wait a second. No, that's item price only. Price plus shipping. You can get it for as low as 102. Would you probably go find it elsewhere for like 95.50, which feels good. Like that's wholesale, guys. Smaller set, easier to master might be a good thing. I don't think so though. Not for the like strength in terms of the performance of the sealed product. I don't know. And I feel like, here's the deal. I think you have to have a balance, right? At the end of the day, you have to have a balance. Because if you have a smaller set and there's less diversity, it can be a good thing because it's not as overwhelming to get, right? But if it's one of those things where it's super easy to pull everything, then it kind of takes away from the enjoyment of the chase. But then if it's a smaller set and it's extremely difficult to pull certain cards, then arguably speaking, it's like it's a double-edged sword, because if you pull a repeat card, then it feels so bad because of how hard it is to pull things. But if you pull something that you haven't pulled before, then it feels even more satisfying, you know? Because it's based only on one Japanese set, usually 2 sets make our sets. That is fair. That is a good point, actually. It'd be cool if they did a shiny Pokemon like they did Master Ball Reverse Holos. See, okay, so this is interesting to think about. I understand 151 is going to be our specialty set because it is a specialty set. But if you look at the timing for when 151 came out, is when as well as when Obsidian came out. It's like one of those things where it feels like kind of interesting being so close together. And by Obsidian I mean Ruler of the Dark Flames. Because obviously, you know, with Japanese sets, they're usually combined, and once again, it's a specialty set, I get it. But it'd almost be funny if they combined Obsidian with 151 and made them booster box sets. Just a thought. It'd be cool if they did shiny Pokemon like they did with I already answered that question. Could have been amazing set, add in full arts and Dragonites. Yep, I know, they could have done so much more with it. Thoughts on Lorcana? I don't know what 5 a.m. Lorcana means, but I mean, thoughts on Lorcana is there's going to be a very big amount of scalpers because it's not available for a lot of storefronts. I think there's an ice cream in China that does Pokemon. Oh, that's cool. Any of the Sword and Shield PC ETBs that are still in stock that you especially like? I'm surprised they're still in stock from all the sets Fusion up until Crown Zenith. Let's go take a look. Let's go to Pokemon Center website. Let's go take a look. That I like. I mean, it really is crazy to me. I mean, the Fusion Strike one for a while was out of stock, and then it came back in stock. I mean, it's hard not to like Brilliant. I think you can't really go wrong with most of them. For me, I'd stay more away from Astral, but maybe that's a hot take. I would say, honestly, these four, you can't really go wrong with any of them. I like Brilliant and the Fusion one the most, though. Those are my two favorite. I feel like I should like the Lost Origin one more, just because of how Lost Origin has performed, right? I guess I like the Brilliant and the Fusion one, because I've seen those ones go out of stock twice, and they're slightly older. Black Friday is going to be fire. Yeah, dude, it's going to be insane. I'm buying all of my 151 holiday season. I'm not touching it before then. From what openings I've seen, there's a lot of repeated holos. That sucks. I can see 151 and bundles already. Black Friday is going to be probably one of the craziest Black Fridays we've seen in a while, going back until the 2019 Black Friday. And the 2019 Black Friday was crazy because of Hidden Fates, so it's like, we're going to see that but for 151. And you're going to have some amazing deals, like, dude, people are going to need to get ready. I've got about a month and a half period after my wedding to save up money, because holy crap. There's gonna be some deals. There's gonna be some deals, that's for sure, for 151. That's what I'm most excited about. Ground Zenith, honestly, you could see some deals too. It is funny to see though, because we've got GameStop deals going on right now that are incredible deals, but we're just not seeing deals for Crown Zenith ETBs, which is funny. It'd be interesting to see if we did do that. But I mean, at the end of the day, you just get 151 product in general. I would not complain whether it's an ETB or not, right? I mean, because if we're just looking at, let's look at the overall performance of Crown Zenith on the overall just TCG player site, right? Let's go to sealed product. Obviously, you've got the ETB, which, yes, it's still above wholesale, right? It's still above wholesale, or sorry, MSRP. But the premium figure collections, if I'm correct, I'm pretty certain this is MSRP for them, right? I mean, at their high point, they were selling for like, I mean, this was ridiculous though. This is way above MSRP. But they're at their MSRP points. The Galarian Birds are around MSRP, slightly below it. This one's at wholesale. MSRP I can't remember. I think this is MSRP for Pikachu. This is above MSRP. I mean, other than the Morpeko and maybe arguably the birds, right? Most of these items have performed above MSRP. I mean, even the pin collections, right? Pin collections MSRP on these is $12. Selling for $44 as a bundle. Does it make sense to sell anything on Black Friday, or is it just buy? I guess it's not smart. Sell it. No, you never want to sell on Black Friday. That's the thing. The purpose of Black Friday is to sell things that you're just trying to get rid of. Like, it's not one of these things where it's like, hey, I got some Lost Origin booster boxes, time to get rid of them. Like, no, that's not what you're doing. What you're doing is you're saying, hey, I've got some Battle Styles booster boxes, or I've gotten some Sword and Shield base, or Scarlet and Violet base set, and you're like, I want to get rid of it, right? I need to get rid of these crappy sets, man. How do I get rid of it? I sell it for flash sale, or I bundle it, right? That's what most retail stores do. You know, and by retail stores, I mean like storefronts, right? It's one of those things where when it comes to big box retailers, it's a little bit different though, because big box retailers, they don't sell booster boxes in the same way. That's a storefront thing for LGSs, and so that's why there's a lot different of a discount model. Plus, they can afford it because they have such better pricing, being big box retailers. But yeah, I mean, most of this Crown Zenith product is still performed well. And I mean, I think this might come off as a hot take here. I don't think it's going to be a hot take. But my personal opinion with Crown Zenith is I think you're going to get a flush of it that is going to have potentially, you know, drop prices or just kind of get rid of a large amount of supply this upcoming Black Friday. And then once that kind of flush of product is out of the market, it's going to take a little bit of time, and then the price is going to start to climb. I could be wrong. I mean, right? Because if you look at specialty sets recently have been taking their sweet freaking time to climb. I mean, Pokemon Go, I don't really consider it a specialty set, but let's go take a look at like Celebrations, right? Celebrations, a set that did not have a large supply. How long has it been sitting at $83 for? I mean, look at this. It went back in October of last year from 75 up to around the 80s. And it's like, this is all it's been at. It's just been in the low 80s for the longest time. It just hasn't moved. And the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection, remember when everyone was like, oh, we finally broke over 400. I mean, guys, it's been sitting slightly above 400 for the longest time. Maybe it's gone from, you know, 400 to like 410 in the past year to half year, but like that's nothing, right? It's just not moving yet. And arguably there's an argument to say that, hey, maybe pick some up. It's not moving yet, pick some up, right? But yeah, that's the thing, is that the specialty sets haven't been performing when it comes to their, like, I mean, I wouldn't call it short term though, because as weird as it is to say, ladies and gentlemen, Celebrations, it's almost a 2-year-old set at this point. Like, almost 2 years old. That's crazy. Battle Academy flash sale, $4 a case. Bro, Distro's done that before. It's so funny, and no one cares. What's up, John Doe? My gosh, dude. It feels like it's been so long. I feel like we don't see you enough these days. I'm glad you're here. Are you expecting another large Zenith print by the holidays? I can't see prints, but like I said before, I think you could see a flash sale of it go on in November because of Black Friday. People love opening Crown Zenith. Singles might not hold crazy, but people still want Crown Zenith and V-Star Universe. Yeah. I mean, Crown Zenith is performing well. It's going to continue to perform well. I'm just more or less asking myself the question, how quickly will it go hyperbolic, right? Because if we look at sets like just general booster box sets, wow, I just exited advanced search to go see advanced search. Funny. No, get rid of celebrations. If we just go look, I mean, okay, Evolving Skies, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Product is being bought right now. Evolving is climbing. It's crazy to see. It's crazy to see how much has gone up in the past couple days. Lost storage and booster boxes. Where are we sitting with that? This thing's without photos. Sitting at 144. So basically the MSRP equivalent. Right? You've got Silver Tempest. Still sitting slightly below 130. I mean, these sets are holding strong. All things considered. Right? I mean, all these booster box sets have just been performing. Like, booster boxes perform when there's not a print. That's the thing. And as I've said this before, I'll say it again. Booster boxes perform so good compared to the ETB counterparts in the short term, just based on the fact that the volume in which people are buying booster boxes to open the packs is so much more. Like, you don't buy ETBs to open packs. Typically, you're buying them as like a display piece. And if you really want the ETB, then you obviously can if you want to open it, but it's very rare that it's better choice than the booster boxes, and the booster boxes are showing their performance value right now. But who knows? I mean, in 5 years, that'll be the question, right? In 5 years, how will the ETBs look compared to their booster box counterparts? That's the real question here. What's up, James? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Those late celebrations releases have kept down pack prices and its product. But I mean, I guess, what do you mean by late releases? Are you talking about the fact that, like, going into early 2022, we had some celebrations product? Years 2025, people still don't know there's a giant Marnie on the playmat. Yeah, right. Evolving Skies booster box is starting to run away from celebrations UPC prices. Yeah, and it's not even close. I think the real question I have is, if we're looking right now, oh my gosh. I think that some of this I mean, I could be wrong. It feels kind of manipulated a little bit. Does it not? Because look at how the single prices for the, like, loose packs have just kind of gone up. And it's all been volume buys. Like, it hasn't been like look, 1, 2, 3, 4 different listings, just all bought up, all bought up to just raise the average price. Like, I'm not saying it's not valid, but it just feels a little manipulated, you know? It's kind of crazy. What's even crazier to think is technically the set is still in rotation. And yet it's like this high. Single, already answered that question. I have a feeling that booster boxes will perform better than normal ETBs even in the long run. It's definitely possible. That's for sure. It is definitely possible. I mean, I'm picking up both, right? I'm picking up both. Whatever I see as a good opportunity, I'm picking it up for myself. Like, what am I sitting on right now? I'm sitting on Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, both booster boxes, Elite Trainer boxes, and a bunch of Crown Zenith. And a couple of CUPCs, and is there anything else I'm sitting on? I guess a couple Scarlet and Violet boosters, but it's definitely not because I want to. It's just like I had to take them for some bundles in order for me to get the Silver Tempest and Lost Origin. I had to pick up some Scarlet Violet. But other than that, it's like I'm staying away from most other product. Specialty set product, booster boxes, elite trainer boxes, that's kind of it. I mean, Celebrations V boxes had a big okay, yes, I understand that, but I don't think that affects the elite trainer box price question though, right? Wouldn't you think? That's just kind of my personal opinion on it. And here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it is market manipulation or not, for Evolving Skies, it would not surprise me if Lost Origin and Silver Tempest, and specifically Brilliant as well, were to follow the pattern of what Evolving has done. Like these 3 sets in particular, they just feel like sets that would follow Evolving when it comes to the hyperbolic pattern. Because we've already seen Silver Tempest at its high go up to, I mean, it says only 145, but we saw this sell for above 150. And same thing goes with Lost Origin. We saw it sell for above 180. So it only makes sense for sets like these two, which just now got a small print, right? To once this, print is over, people look at this and say, this is it. I better get in. It's now or never. And you see prices skyrocket. Why does everyone hate on Scarlet and Violet base? I love the set. It has less to do with the fact that I hate Scarlet and Violet base and more to do with the fact that it's just performing poorly. Like if I'm going in and I'm buying booster boxes of Lost Origin and Silver Tempest for $92 and I am buying Scarlet and Violet boxes for $92, which is a better pickup? The booster box that is selling for $94 or the booster box that is selling for $144 and $130? Like, that's really all it comes down to. In terms of overall base sets, I've said this before, I'll say it again. It has one of the best base sets we've seen, arguably. I think it's solid. Like, I understand that in terms of chase cards, it's not a ton, but I like just the diversity of characters in the illustration rare, just regular, and I do like some of, I like the Miriam, I like the Gardevoir. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if we're talking waifu craze, the more you see the Miriam crash, the more you're saying this is going to be an undervalued card, just based on the fact of what we've seen with the overall waifus, right? Like, how is this not going to be a card that's going to be undervalued in the next couple years? Chilling Rain is at 180. That doesn't feel right to say, but I don't know. Let's take a look. It is definitely not at 180. It's at 146, good sir. I don't know where you're seeing 180. Hating SV is trending, so you gotta follow suit. It's not that bad. It's just not a set like the back end of the Sword and Shield era. Like I've said, back of the Sword and Shield era, that's the way to go. How's the Ultra Premium Collection Charizard performing? That's a real question we need to be asking. It is performing exactly sideways. All right. It is done absolutely nothing since December, basically. So we've got 8 months, basically, of sideways action with this. Just waiting for it to break. I'm just waiting for it to pop up in price. It's going to happen. A day is going to come where this item is going to pop off. Just you wait, ladies and gentlemen. People make fun of me for it now, but I am a huge believer. Wow, I didn't realize that this was selling for wholesale. No wonder it's selling. I mean, this is $1.50 above wholesale, I should say, but that's ridiculously cheap. Chilling Rain at 1 for... Yeah. I think that Chilling should, in theory, take out Fusion in the long term, just being such a drastically better set, in my opinion. Arceus V Premium Box? Like the premium figure, Eric? Or which premium box are you referencing? I think people are still waiting for 151 and saving their money at the moment. That's why Silver Tempest and Lost Origin are still very affordable. What do you think, Eli? Well, I guess... Okay, so you say that's why you think it's affordable. I guess I'm confused by that statement. Because, sure, it's affordable, but, like... We got a small print of it. See, that's why the prices have gone down. It has nothing to do with the fact that people are just, you know, not picking it up, and prices are, you know, just dropping for that reason. No, there was a supply that was just put onto the market, and because of that supply being put onto the market, you're seeing, of course, with it, prices going down. I figured you meant the GameStop exclusive. Lost Origin at 128 is a good entry point? Question mark. If so, for the average collector, long-term mentally, how many would be good to get? I mean, here's the deal, Jose. There is a bundle deal that is going on with my distributors right now in the wholesale program, which I think it's kind of silly to me. People are not taking more advantage of it. But anyway, I kind of digress with that. I'm picking it up as much as I can because I think Lost Origin is going to be an incredible set long term. I am ridiculously high right now on Lost Origin. Like, I was already a fan of Lost Origin, but I just like it more so now than ever, just based on the fact of the matter that the set itself has performed, and it's showing us that it can be a set that can go above $200 in the next 6 months to a year. And that sounds crazy to say, right? I mean, obviously, we don't know whether the U.S. economy is going to be. But if we just look at how Pokemon booster boxes are performing right now, I don't think that's crazy. I mean, you say that by early next year, Lost Origin, if it doesn't get another print, it goes to over $200. I would not be stunned at all. And Silver Tempest would probably be at like 170 at that point. Was the supply big over in the US? Supply for Silver Tempest and Lost Origin, is that what you mean, Sia? It was a decent amount, that's why the prices dropped so much. Because Lost Origin went from 180 and I mean, some sites you can pick it up for like 125, 130. Or somewhere in between. What is a good price point range for Lost Origin? I mean, to pick up at, like I said, 125 to 130. Anything in that price range is a good pickup. Anything lower than that's an insanely good deal. The deal is killer if SV and OF gets moved to free up the capital. That's what I'm eyeing. I get that. You think the EX Pikachu World Championship box at $200 a good pickup? I don't really know that item, so I would refrain from giving bad advice. 151 will be very fun to open like CZ. Let's go look at 151 as a set again. $151 is a set list. What are the main pulls you can get in this set? You've got the 3 starters. Obviously, you've... God, this is such a good set. This is such a good set. Like, oh my gosh. Sorry, I just got so excited looking at this set. It upsets me that these are promos. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, the items are going to do well. The ultra premiums are going to do well in the long term. But it would have been so much nicer to throw them in the set. Just because this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regular Pokemon illustrations. So you've got 2 of them being taken out of it. I mean, obviously, you've got the Erica and the Boss's Order cards. I don't know. It's one of those sets that I just look at and I just say, it's so good. I am a little surprised, though, that they didn't do more with, like, a Dragonite. That is a little upsetting. Because if you have a Dragonair, just a regular Dragonair, I would assume they would have done something with a Dragonite. I understand, obviously, Obsidian Flames, or specifically Ruler of the Dark Flames, came after. So maybe that's their excuse, but it didn't get an SIR, which is upsetting. I don't know. I just look at, like, I don't even care for some of these Pokemon, right? Like Tangela, Caterpie, Mr. Mime. Like, I don't care for some of these Pokemon. The art designs are so well done. I almost wish they threw in more characters. I do. I honestly do. Because it's just so well done in terms of making you feel the feeling that is the first generation. It's one of those sets where I feel like they could have added more, because it feels so good as it is right now. If they added more, it would just taken it even more to the next level. I think 80% of Sword and Shield will go over 200 next year. %. I mean, honestly, that's not really that big of a hot take. Because you said next year, so you're giving yourself a year and 4 months, and you're saying 80%. Yeah, I could see that. I could see it in a world where end of year you have sets like Battle Styles and Astral sub 200. But you have sets like Brilliant, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, Fusion, Chilling, and all the other sets people like above 200. Someone has 40 plus quantity of Giratina on TCG Player. Wow. Something tells me they probably are listing it because they tried buying a bunch up to grade and then now they're relisting it. Paldea Evolve seems like a great buy on GameStop. Comes out to $99 for 36 booster packs. It feels like many people are overlooking it, but really like the artwork. Okay, but the thing is, Joseph, I think that you're missing is that you're buying the loose packs for that much versus you can go buy the seal box for like $1 more on TCG Player, and some other places you can buy for a couple dollars cheaper and get it as a booster box. That's probably why. To what previous booster box past era would you compare Evolving Skies to performance-wise, market growth, or is it just to leave its own? Personally holding on to my 4. I would say just looking at it, it's hard to really compare it. And the only reason why I say that is because sure, we can go look at like a set such as Team Up and say, oh, it's going to be the next Team Up. Wait for it to hit 1,000, 2,000, blah, blah, blah. But the thing that makes it difficult for me to compare that is Team Up had such a short print. Like, it was such a low printed set that it's really difficult for me to say they're the same, because Evolving Skies had been printed much more. And it still performed extremely well. So I guess we could potentially say Evolutions, but not even Evolutions, because Evolution sat sideways forever. So yeah, it's just kind of in a league of its own. And more specifically, it's in a time of its own too. A Walmart near me always is dry. Had 4 ETBs of ES last time I went there. Had to scoop. That's fantastic. You think Chilling would runner up of Evolving Skies in terms of booster box price? No, I don't think Chilling is going to be a runner-up compared to Evolving. I think if anything, it's going to be Brilliant, and I think it's going to be Lost Origin. I think that they've both shown to be sets that perform really well. I mean, think about it, guys. Brilliant was pushing 200 before it got printed. I mean, it shows right now that it was 184, but we had listings for slightly below 200 bucks before it got printed, and then look at what came of it, right? And it got printed not too long ago, and the price is still going. I mean, it's climbing. So, and same thing goes with, Lost Origin, right? I mean, these sets have just been performing killer, and they haven't really been printed a ton. That's another thing you also have to take into consideration. There hasn't been a large print of them. So, do I think Chilling Reign will perform extremely well in the long term? Yeah, of course. I do think it will. But right now, considering the price points in which I can get all 3 of the boxes, I'm eyeing Lost Origin and Silver Tempest, even though it's not a part of the trio that we just mentioned, just because of the price points and what historically we've seen. It's kind of like when Darkness Ablaze dropped down to 110. We'd seen Darkness go up to 180. We knew what it was capable of. And so for that reason, 110 was just a good price point to get in at. And obviously the overall performance of it right now is it's selling for almost 160, basically 160. So it's been a good pickup. However, from a pickup price point perspective, arguably speaking, yeah, Chilling Reign performs better than Darkness just because the entry point you could pick it up at, right? Because you picked up Darkness at 110 when it had its, second print, which, to be fair, Darkness Ablaze was a set that was printed drastically more. Chilling did not get a lot of print. It had a wave 1, then its wave 2 got pushed off, and then it finally came out, prices dropped. It never got more than just the initial first 2 waves, which, that plays a factor into scarcity, which is something that Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze don't have, that Chilling Reign does have at least an edge on. But so does Brilliant, and so does Lost Origin and Silver Tempest. It doesn't have scarcity, though? Sword and Shield Ultra Premium Collection. That one does not have scarcity, that is for sure. That is for certain. But, I don't know, man. What would be the play with the new Orbital and Rapidash boxes with Cosmic and Evolving for $17.99? Pick up as many as possible to hold? I mean, yeah, you pick up as many as you can. 100%. Yeah, $75 to $80 Chilling was a beautiful thing. It honestly was such a good price point to pick it up. And it's the most frustrating thing for me too, because I talked to my distributors back in August, I think is when it was. And at the start of the month, I said to them that, hey, I am going to be moving. But they were having a deal for Chilling Reign where you could get it for 86 bucks a piece, and you also got a Trainer Toolkit 2022 for free. And if you guys remember the 2022 Trainer Toolkits, this was before rotation, right? They had Scoop Up Nets going for $5 a pop. So you got one for free on top of that. I said, hey man, I'm about to move, and I want to pick up $10,000 worth of Chilling Reign booster boxes. Can you guys put some on hold for me until the end of the month? And they said, sorry, we can't swing that, especially because it's a deal that we're offering for the week. And I was so sad because I just wouldn't have been able to take it with me, especially in the move. And it makes me really just upset because it was such a good opportunity that I would have loved to have taken advantage of. But, obviously that's just the game that it is, man. That's just the game that it is, and that's why I'm trying to take advantage right now of Lost Origin. We should collectively shill Chilling Reign, right? What's up, Tom? Good to see you, brother. The amount of quality alts in CR will speak for itself in time. I concur. Yeah, I bought all mine at $80. Also bought the Japanese counterpart as well. Is Chilling Reign a Pokemon set? I'm new here. Shut up, Tom. Jason, is it odd that some booster boxes go for more than the sum of the top to 15 cards in the set? There's no chance you pull all those cards in one box. Nope, it's not surprising at all. Just based on the fact of the matter that people like the idea of opening cards, and it's a fun feeling, it's a nostalgic feeling, and then also over the fact that you have another separate base of individuals that like to keep the boxes sealed and display them. So it's just two different camps, whereas with these singles, it's basically either they're playable or they are fun to collect. If they're not playable, then you just lost half the base there. And if they're fun to collect, then that's about it. That's your only target demographic, right? There's so much more of a demographic for sealed products because of the things I listed, right? I think Shining Legends box and wholesale a good move now. Thinking of buying 10. You think the Shining Legend box in wholesale, good move? I don't know which Shining Legend box you're referencing, Eric. I guess I'm a little confused. Shining Legend box? Robo Clash is 215, which is equal to top 12 card totals. Yep, it's once again, people like the idea of opening or the sealed itself. I think specifically with Rebel, it's just sealed, honestly. It's one of those sets that was extremely short printed, I mean, because of COVID. And because of that, prices are just going up. Oh, that one, Tori? I mean, you can if you want. I have honestly no clue. I haven't looked at the pricing on it. Will they keep short printing the Pokemon Center ETBs? I mean, obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I could answer that, but it's really difficult for me to say. I mean, it's a good investment for the Marshadow at a price point, at a good price point. I just don't know what the price point is compared to wholesale, right? How are the EX battle decks holding up? Hot or not? Tom's trolling. If so, I feel like they're the best way to invest. I mean, considering that they just keep getting short printed Annie, yeah, they're performing extremely well, right? I just don't know, right? If I remember correct, Rudy picked up $3 million worth of Chilling Reign for 72 each. That sounds about right. That's what I heard as well. Yeah, I heard. I don't know if it was $3 million worth of Chilling alone. I think it was a mix between Chilling Fusion and Battle Styles. Do you think ES ETBs could actually outperform Celebrations? Yeah, there's definitely a world where that's possible. I mean, let's go take a look at Evolving Skies as a set, period, right now. Umbreon in near mint condition, selling for basically $600. It's going up. I mean, this just doesn't look like it's slowing down. Imagine this does get a reprint. That would be crazy. Tell us how to flip Magic already. Hey, Hermit, we're gonna save that video. We're gonna start a new series here pretty soon. We're gonna start it next Friday, so don't you worry. We'll have a conversation about that. Fusion over chilling for me. Pokemon are better, although chilling is deeper. I just appreciate the artwork more for chilling. That's why I like it better. Sitting on 3 of every alt art from the set. Woo! That's spicy. Talk about money right there, baby. It's going back up a little. It's been on a wave of going up 25, then 30, and repeat. I'm not sure the ETBs will outperform Celebrations. Depends on if you look at English, but Japanese is out of control. I mean, that's the thing though, Eric, is we can't really compare the two. That's why we're just looking at English and how it's going. It takes time to actually flip things though. So much involved. That is true. That is definitely true. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned, it's not as easy as, all right, this is how much my collection's worth. Let me just sell it all super easy, right? And that's the thing. That's why I think the most important thing to do is learn to buy product that's liquid, right? Product that is easy to move, because holy crap, there's some product that is not easy to move. You just have to have volume. It's kind of like, I don't know. What's a good example? Eli flip sensor. I mean, it's less flipping and more just like moving bulk. Amen to that, collectible. I'm just sticking to what I know, and that's Pokemon. Fair enough. TCG Direct specifically for Magic's insane. I mean, it's not bad for Pokemon, but Direct is so crazy for TCG or for Magic. Any idea why that Blaziken is dropping? I did not know it was dropping. I feel like it's been performing extremely well last time I looked. Let's see. Ooh. Wow. That feels wrong. Why is someone just listing it for 170? That feels like a miss. 170, whereas everything else is going for 192, 199. I don't know. Maybe I'm off on that one, but I mean, here's the deal, man. Look at this. It's just been straight up. It's probably dropping because it's just been straight up. I think it just needs some time to go sideways a little bit, considering the fact that it's been going up for so long. That's my only guess. The money that used to be English cards has shifted overseas, contributing to our prices tanking. I don't know about prices tanking though. Like what is tanking? Like I keep hearing people say things are tanking, but sure, if we're saying vintage, but not ultra modern. I can't do Magic because I'm already Pokemon and I work 40 hours a week, etc. I can't maintain that. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like, the only reason I can currently maintain it is because I have the liquidity to pay for a card sorting machine and hire someone to run the operation, right? If you don't have that, then it doesn't make sense for the volume. I mean, at least when you're doing direct, though, you can scale up more. It's just once you get into the sorting of it all, obviously, it's a pain in the butt. There are value for alts at 10, 15 to 30 to buy now. What specifically are you referencing, Tom? It's rough. I think so as well. I'm going to refresh and someone's going to have bought it. I'm waiting for it. Oh. I feel like someone watching right now would have bought it. I think the back half of the TGs and the 25 and under alts are a move. I agree. TGs, I assume you mean trainer galleries. But, I mean, is it the Celebi, I think, is what is dirt cheap right now? Whoa, what am I doing? Wrong set, wrong set. I was spacing out hardcore. I apologize, folks. Fusion Strike. Where's this Celebi right now? Near mint. How's it performing? See, this is so hard to read. Hisuian, Lilligant, Beedrill, Unknown Alt are a move. Interesting. Hey Eli, might have missed it. It was brought up already, but do Obsidian Flames VT ETB selling for 180 seem very... yeah, it seems very odd. I don't think it's going to last, but I mean, I could be wrong. By the way, did you buy the RoboClash booster box on TCG Player? What? All the RoboClash? No, I did not. What are the chances you think SV will have a set near as strong as Evolving Skies? Near as strong? Oof. Very low. I think there's a very low chance. And I think it has less to do with this, there being a potential for a set to be as good as Evolving Skies. But when you say strength, I think it has less to do with the set and more to do with the general strength of the era during the economy, right? And I have just my own kind of speculations on how the economy is going to be in 2024. I'm a little nervous, if I'm being honest. I'm like chugging along, hoping everything stays the same, but it's just one of those things where there's a lot of free tendies given out in the past couple of years, and I think they're going to start to dry up. Especially with inflation. It's getting better, but the value of, you know, the salary compared to just the everyday spend, it's insane. Like, groceries are ridiculous right now. What steel product from Crown Zenith are you currently holding a lot of, and which you think will do long term? I'm actually not holding a ton of any in particular. Not really, no. I'm basically holding a mix of everything. The one I will say, let's go to Crown Zenith. I've got about 2 cases of Crown Zenith ETBs, I want to say, maybe 3. I've got about 2 or 3 cases of Crown Zenith premium playmat figures. I've got a case of pins. I've got a case of the Reggies. I've got like 2 or 3 cases of the Pikachu VMAXs, 2 or 3 cases of the Morpeko V Unions. I've got probably 3 or 4 cases of the tins, honestly. I got a decent amount of those. And then outside of that, let me think. I mean, is there anything else I'm missing? I don't know if I have a case or not of the tins, but I don't think I do. But that's about it, man. Hey Eli, this guy wants to buy my entire collection for 60K, which is about 60% comps. In your opinion, good deal or not? Eric's entire collection is 60K, 60%. Well, I mean, you have to ask yourself the question, Eric, are you wanting to sell it, right? Are you wanting to sell your entire collection, and how many pieces are in your entire collection, right? Like, for example, I sold my collection off, which I think the math came out to, it was worth like $60,000 in value is what mine came out to be, and I ended up selling it for like $38,000, which if you do the math on that, it was like, here, let me do the math on that. Roughly 40% of its value, right? Maybe I sold it for a little less, maybe 36, but I could be wrong. You know, and it was one of those things where, why did I do it? Obviously for me it was because I had to move, but ultimately at the end of the day, my collection itself had equated enough value to where losing that much off the top wasn't going to matter to me. Because when you have TCG player is the predominant way you're going to sell things, unless you're going to go and try and sell it off slowly on places like Facebook Marketplace and such, right? You're going to be paying 15% for the product, and then you're going to pay an additional $10 usually to ship each item, right? Depending upon if you're selling it in case quantities, which is going to be a lot more difficult to sell it volume wise, it's going to take time. And if time is on your side, then obviously you want to try and maximize it if you are interested in selling. But if not, and you say to yourself, well, I'm already going to eat 15% fees and then have to pay shipping, versus, sure, 40% fees, so it's a 25% higher fee, but I'm not having to ship it, then it's basically like I'm paying a fee of an additional 10 to 15% for the luxury of selling it off all at once. And if you can afford that, then great. If you can't, then obviously, you know, it's like you ask yourself this question, which is better? If you bought an Evolving Skies booster box at 120, right? And it is going right now for, we'll say, $450. That is $330 flat value before shipping and fees. But if you're going to say the shipping and if you're going to just do the fees, so 40% of the value, then you made $270. You still walked away with $150 in profit. Feels good, right? Versus you say to yourself, okay, you know, and this is if you sold it in multiple quantities. To be fair, it's Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies, you wouldn't want to go this route because it's Evolving Skies. It's gonna sell fast, right? This is another thing you need to take into consideration. You say versus, you know, 450 times 0.85 minus 10, like easy, 100 extra bucks in value. Why would you sell that off, right? But now if the equation is then changed and you say, hey, I've got a bunch of Scarlet and Violet, right? First and foremost, selling Scarlet and Violet 40% below even wholesale is kind of a joke. But if you were to make an agreement where you would sell your good stuff at cost and then sell the bad stuff at market, that would be a lot better of a pitch, I would say, selling wise, right? Because if let's say you bought Scarlet and Violet at $95 and you really want to move Scarlet and Violet, be like, hey, I can give you Scarlet and Violet at wholesale. Like, this is what market is. And in exchange, you know, I can give you a discount, and it has to make sense, you know, logistically speaking. I mean, there's a lot of factors, man. There is a lot of factors at play going into this, so it's hard for me to say, whoa, why did my thing just disconnect on me? Oh, that was weird. You just randomly decided to disconnect. Yeah, it's hard to say, man. There's so many margins, but you get the thought process that I guess I'm going through right now. Is that's kind of what you have to do, man. I'm a fan of the 5-pack bird tins. Got 2 cases for 19 a piece at pre-order. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. How much did I buy them for before they went out of stock? I honestly have absolutely no clue. Oh, why are things so hard to find invoice-wise? It's always so hard to find invoices, I swear. I bought them for $16.50 a piece. Can we push the Charizard UPC on whatnot? It's fine. Yeah, if we're gonna manipulate anything, ladies and gentlemen, it's got to be the CUPC, not Chilling Reign. Come on, folks. Got a couple Celebi alt arts, great price, one to keep and the others to hold. Is there any hype for Disney's TCG 100th anniversary set? Ton of hype for it, of course. The real MVPs are Lorcana buyers who bought shares. Yeah, that's crazy. Don't forget tax, but who does that when you just reinvest it into another business expense? I guess that's a good point too. Is as someone who's a business owner, I can write it all off because I just reinvest it back in the business. But yeah, that's a good point. You're gonna have to pay taxes too. That's another good thing you also have to take into consideration. Do you feel like switching to match Japanese borders was a good move, or would you have kept the iconic yellow? I think it was fine switching to silver. I don't think it's really had an impact, honestly. I think the change hasn't really mattered much, if I'm being completely honest. That's the thing, is like when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, this is hopefully, I mean, I care more about what they did with products and added more things and took away from more things to adjust for the inflation prices. What's up with the Ultra Brawl project? I had to put the Ultra Brawl project on hold mainly because I just am using liquidity to pay for that project that I don't have anymore. Because I've been trying to work on some other things like hiring an editor. And to me, that's just more important at this moment in time because it's something that I really have been wanting to do for a while, and I just had to put the Ultra Ball project on the back burner. What's the best price you've seen for SV base and Paldea? $90, I think, is the best price I've seen on eBay. Or not eBay, sorry, Facebook Marketplace groups. The booster boxes are really cheap right now, for real. What do you think about Chilling Reign, Pokemon Center, Air ETBs in terms of potential value being there? I mean, they'll do fine. I mean, they're a special product because there was an error. I think they'll do well. It's just the question is trying to sell that it's an error. I mean, people in the Pokemon community pay premiums for error Pokemon product, right? So I'd like to believe it'll do well, right? I mean, what's it going for right now on a TCG Player? Selling for 70, and I don't know what the other one is selling for. It honestly feels like it's really cheap what it's selling for right now. Maybe it's just me, but when I look at, I can get the regular equivalent of this box for $49, and I can get the special version, which is basically just a different art design for just $10 more, but it is more rare. It feels undervalued, but maybe it feels valued appropriately because it's not something many people know about, but I don't know. I've been able to get some Crown Zenith product lately at really good prices myself. Hey, that's good. Crown Zenith tins for $10, baby. How have you been able to get Crown Zenith tins for $10? That's insane. That's like 50% less than wholesale. Sup, Toby? How we doing? If I could only buy one Pokemon, what would it be? Buy one Pokemon? Like a legitimate Pokemon? Not a card of any kind or something? Where are you getting prices for this, Jose? I feel like he's trolling. Sold my SV base case for 90 a box. There you go. CRPC ETB was also the one they had an error with, only 8 packs. Well, no, I know that, L-dubs. Well, that's what I literally just explained for the past like 5 minutes. That's what I was literally just explaining. What do you guys think I should trade my Plasma Freeze and 1500 for an Unleash box? No. Unleash boxes are so overpriced. I would stay away from that. That's just me personally. I don't know. I look at the Heart Gold boxes and I feel like a lot of them are so overpriced. But to be fair, I mean, Plasma Freeze, what is that selling for right now? Like 2,400? Yeah. What is it going for anyway? I'd have to look at the market value of the two items and be definitive about it, what they're realistically going for, because I feel like a lot of the times people pay premiums for boxes that are a lot more readily available than they realize. Do you think CZ singles are hitting lows now, or do you think there'll be more restocks? I think that they're not hitting their lows. I think that you're going to potentially see a large price swing on them when it comes to Black Friday, because a lot of people are going to be opening up for cheap. Aldi has mini tins around $8. What's Aldi? It's going for 25. So you're basically saying that the Unleashed is going for 4K? I mean, we're on eBay, which I don't even like to look at eBay typically. Yeah, there's just no sales history. I mean, it's not a terrible trade by any means. You're basically, I mean, but here's the question. What was the last sale for Plasma Freeze? That's a good question. Plasma Freeze booster box. I don't know, man. It's not a ton of last listings, but just from what we're seeing, feels like I'd like to get at least a little bit more out of it. I would say $1,300 maybe in value. that you pay extra, or even 1,000 closer to that. Value his box a little less and value yours a little more, but maybe that's just me. Hard gold and still silver is really hard to find. Not really. It honest to God isn't. I've been able to find hard gold and still silver so easy. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, I've been able to buy hard gold and still silver packs for anywhere between like 80 to 90 bucks a piece loose. And like booster boxes, there's a lot of people that I know that are actively selling off their booster boxes for around the mid threes, maybe high threes, depending upon the booster. Like, it's not that crazy. And it depends on the condition too, because if you're paying 4K for one, it better be crispy. Like, it better be crispy. Like, you wouldn't catch me, depending upon the pack, spending more than like $95 on a loose, and like for a booster box spending more than 4K on the high end, and it better be a good condition box. I don't think people realize how much the 4th generation era is dropping right now. Like, cards are dropping. Well, I understand Aldi's a supermarket, but I'm saying, where is it though? Like, is it in the US or is it in a different country, or where is it in particular? How do I speed up the unloading new prices on TCG Player? I export my Excel spreadsheet by set rarity and price. See, it's funny you asked that question, Wrath. I'm in the process of trying to figure out a better way to mass price update things. And I think having to do with Excel. It's in Europe? I kind of figured. It was a Europe thing. That's crazy. Well, then when you say 8, are you saying $8 or 8 pounds or 8 euros, or what's your currency is another thing we also have to take into consideration. I don't think he specified, but I could be wrong. No, he said dollars. It's in the Midwest. Everyone keeps saying it's from different places. It's in the US too? Oh, wow. Well, let me see if there's an Aldi's near me. They sell them for that cheap? Bro, there's an Aldi's 4 miles from me. How have I never heard of this place? And they sell Pokemon for that cheap? That's insane. How cheap are their groceries? That's another question. Seems like a pretty good deal. So do you just have to go in and find Pokemon in Aldi's? Like, where do you find them? That's interesting. I want to check that out. Eli's new play goes into Aldi's, buys it all out, right? They rarely sell Pokemon. You say rarely, but people are finding it. Right? The groceries are really cheap as well. I see. But he was saying that he got them from Aldi's. That's where he got the prices of Pokemon from. Interesting. Be an interesting find, man. Find yourself some Pokemon cards in Aldi's. I see. So it's a seasonal thing. Off to see a couple weeks in Melbourne. Gonna get a couple of Zards signed. Where's the better value, getting a graded card signed or a raw card signed and then grading it? I have no clue, Ben, because I have zero experience with that, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I gotta look by the toys I'd ask. They just started selling. I was getting CZ tins. Dang. Thoughts on Obsidian Flame set cards not being the play? Thoughts on Obsidian Flames set cards not being the play? I don't know what you mean by that question. Sorry. I'm a little confused, Tom. Everyone's all talking about the places in which they like to buy Pokemon now. Like what? You know what the one that I used to buy and people didn't know about? I had a buddy that worked at Cracker Barrel and he got 30% discounts at Cracker Barrel and they had some older tins that they would just stock, and anytime there were some there, he would buy them for me. You're meant to be my guru. I'm sorry. I know a lot of things about Pokemon, but I can't lie and say I know everything about Pokemon. There's certain aspects I don't know, like the value of cards when it comes to graded versus ungraded signed. What do I think of the Charizard full art promo that looks the other way? I think that it's just another box gimmick to sell product because Charizard. It's dumb. Not a fan. What are your thoughts on Obsidian Flames? The cards in the sets aren't playable in other TCG in the TCG. Thoughts? Just what I heard. I mean, we won't know until we know, but from what I've seen, I don't see any cards being playable. You know, it was interesting. We were talking with Mason about it not too long ago. And one of the Pokemon, one of the trainers in particular, I can't remember which one it was, but basically what it was is it was a trainer card that, I think it was this one, where basically it made it where you could attach 2 energies in one turn, but if you did, your Pokemon couldn't attack. And he was saying that it's a busted card. So we'll have to see how good that ends up being. Whenever I walk into Cracker Barrel, I feel bad. I feel like I'm supporting the Confederacy. Why do you... That makes 0 sense. They're just called Cracker Barrel. I hate Cracker Barrels, if I'm being honest, though. I just don't really like them at all. I don't like the feel of them. Feels like a place where you go with your grandkids if you're an old person. Did Brilliant have the largest sword ETB reprint? If so, how much would you say? I mean, I can't... Hold on one second. I gotta read this a little bit. Did Brilliant have the largest sword and shield regular ETB reprint? If so, how much would you say? I mean, I can't give you numbers, John, but it did have a large resupply when it came to the ETBs for sure. Feels like Chuck E. Cheese. Why is it still around? Hey, we had a Cracker Barrel in my old hometown, and it went out of business recently, so. How much supply is currently out there for Soren Shabu's? Down to the nearest 10. Dang. Collectible gets it. If I were to calculate off the top of my head. I heard that Pokemon vending machines are going to stock Evolving Skies ETBs and Hidden Fates. I mean, I know that there's one in Roseville in Oregon, and I heard it's broken. And I'm like, bro, I don't give a crap if it's broken. Tell them to go fix it. I'm freaking slipping my hand up there for some Hidden Fates. I feel like when Eli reads a comment and Mia reads a comment, and Mia reads it and adds and takes out words. Hold on, what? I feel like when Eli reads a comment and Mia reads it and adds and takes out words. And Miss. If you take consideration how it is to pull a Moonbryon compared to how it's graded, seems like ES was the most printed. It's definitely not. The most printed by far is probably Battle Styles. Battle Styles was printed like crazy. He broke me because he had to like correct what he was saying, and I was so freaking lost for a second there. And I'm still a little lost on that statement. Moonbryon is hard to pull. Literally same with Rayquaza VMAX. What card in Zenith do you think that... This is tough. What card in Crown Zenith do you think stands out as undervalued? I'm liking the Darkrai V-Star. In Crown Zenith? Good question. Honestly, I feel like it's pretty easy for me to say. You know, I could be wrong on this. It might be a hot take. But I would like to say that you could see the Roxanne and you could see the Cynthia and Irida being undervalued. Like, these are three, I feel like, waifus that will do really well long term. That's my personal opinion on what I think is the most undervalued. It's the waifus. Oh, also Gardenia's Vigor, too. Like, these waifus are going to pop off long term, right? Oh, I see. I feel like when Eli reads a comment and misreads, and adds and takes out words. Well, I don't necessarily do that sometimes. Sometimes I'll just like read it, but like I won't read it. I'll be like reading it out loud, but then read some of it in my head, and so I won't finish it. See, stuff like this, like I understand what John's saying, but if I read it out loud, would you say Battle Styles print size was close to Vivid's? Like, that sounds so like yes, I would say that Battle Styles print size was close to Vivid's. They were pretty close for sure. Because Vivid had 3 print waves, Battle Styles had 3 print waves, and then they both each had 2 additional waves after. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the witching hour. We're going to start wrapping things up here. So if you got more questions, I'll wrap up by finishing them off. Champions Path Hop versus all waifus. Zachy gets it. How much? Alright, collectibles just trolling. When I buy off a buddy and he gets his for Crown Zenith, I never resell the waifus. Always hold on to them for the exact point you said. Yeah, I mean, dude, we're just seeing waifus pop off. I mean, you just go, you buy a waifu and just say, chillin'. They're just chilling, man. I will say though, the best thing about holding on to cards as long-term investments compared to sealed, it is much easier to move cards when it comes to shipping. It's gonna be much cheaper for you to ship them all out. That is for sure. I don't know, the set just seems so cheap right now. Oh yeah, speaking of cheap, how's my Pikachu's performing? Oh god. They've been massacred. They're still selling for about the same I bought it for. They are, Roger. So you can buy them at the distro level, you just have to buy them as a bundle. That's the main thing right now. Collectible investor gains are taxed higher. Interesting. Cheap because there's so much out there. Well, yeah, I know, obviously. It's just still crazy to me to see how it just is going to keep going down. Like, it's nice. It's pretty dang nice. It's pretty dang nice, that's for sure. But at some point, I'm definitely going to have to pick it up. Which Pika cards did you buy? The Sleepy Pika. Chew, that's the one I bought. But as far as it goes, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you guys all so much for stopping by. As always, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, folks. If you want to enter into our weekly giveaways. Twitter, we do giveaways as well. Follow us there. Discord is the place to be if you want to stay updated on all things Pokemon USA. And lastly, if there's ever spots available for the Patreon, I recommend you join to get access to Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Flesh and Blood at wholesale prices, and so much more. But that is all for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching.